What would you do if you discovered the child you'd been searching for had been raised by a stranger for 5 years? The signature echoes before the pen lifts. Kang Jun signs his name across the merger contract with barely a glance. 80 floors above Seoul, glass walls frame the city like a kingdom he already owns. His three-piece suit is sharp as a blade. His expression even sharper. "I don't bow to anyone," he tells the nervous executive across the table. Not to investors, not to competitors, not even to God. The room holds its breath. At 35, June has built an empire that makes powerful men nervous. His logistics corporation moves goods across 3 continents. What those goods sometimes are, well, some questions are better left unasked. His phone buzzes once, twice, 3 times. He ignores it. Kang Jun never answers during negotiations. Control is everything. But his chief of security leans close, whispers something that makes the boss's jaw tighten. Just for a second, just enough. "We're done here," June says, standing abruptly. The meeting ends because he says it does. No one argues. Outside in the marble corridor, his security chief hands him a tablet with shaking hands. "Sir, a woman in the suburbs filed adoption papers for a 5-year-old boy. Standard background check triggered a DNA database match." June's eyes narrow. "Get to the point. The child is yours. We're 99.9% certain." The tablet nearly shatters in his grip. 5 years. 5 years since Minji, the woman he'd loved, vanished with his newborn son. He'd told her to run when his enemies made threats against her life. Stay hidden. Keep their baby safe. He'd expected her to contact him once the danger passed. She never did. He'd searched everywhere. Hospitals, orphanages, morgues, nothing. Eventually, he'd assumed the worst, that they'd both perished in whatever tragedy had kept her silent. And now this, a random adoption filing, a DNA match, his son is alive. "Find her," June says, voice cold as winter. "Find the woman who has my child, and bring me everything. Where she lives, who she is, why she has what's mine." His security chief nods and disappears. June stands alone in the corridor, staring at the tablet screen, showing a blurry photo of a small boy with familiar dark eyes. My son, alive. For 5 years, someone else has raised my son. The thought ignites something dangerous in his chest. Not joy, not relief, rage. Someone kept his child from him. Whether through malice or mistake, someone stole 5 years of his son's life. And Kang Jun always collects what's owed to him. Alina Brown wipes chalk dust from her hands as the last child's mother waves goodbye. Her small apartment doubles as an after-school reading room, crowded, warm, bursting with crayon drawings taped to every wall. She's 27, but carries herself with the weariness of someone who's fought for every small victory. Teaching certification, this apartment, the used furniture that's clean if not pretty. And Eli, always Eli. "Baby, time to clean up," she calls toward the corner where picture books have formed a fortress. A small boy peers out, dark eyes serious. Eli, 5 years old, her entire world in human form. "One more chapter?" he asks quietly. "Please?" Alina kneels beside him, her smile softening the exhaustion. "After dinner, I'll do all the silly voices." His answering smile is tentative, hard-won. Eli doesn't smile easily, never has. But when he does, her heart nearly bursts. She remembers the night she found him like it was yesterday. 5 years ago, pulling a double shift as a hospital aide while studying for her teaching certification. She'd been restocking supplies in the maternity ward when she heard it. A baby crying, thin and desperate, from the service elevator corridor. A newborn, alone, wrapped in a hospital blanket, with no identification bracelet, no paperwork. Just a tiny jade pendant tucked into the blanket, engraved with symbols she couldn't read. She'd reported it immediately. Security searched. The hospital administrator made calls. No one claimed him. No missing infant reports matched. Social services said they'd place him in foster care. Alina said she'd take him temporarily, just until they found his family. Temporary became weeks. Weeks became months. Months became forever. The knock at the door shatters her peace. 3 men in black suits stand in her doorway. Too polished for this neighborhood, too still. "Miss Alina Brown?" The lead man's voice is formal, careful. "We represent Kang Jun of the Kang Group. We need to discuss your son." Her blood runs cold. "I don't know what you're talking about." He places an envelope on her coffee table. "DNA results. The boy you're raising is Mr. Kang's biological son. He'll need to be returned to his father immediately." Alina steps between Eli and the strangers. "I didn't steal anyone's child. 5 years ago, I found a newborn abandoned in a hospital corridor. No note, no identification. No one came for him. Mr. Kang didn't abandon his son." The man's tone softens slightly. The child's mother fled to protect him from threats against the family. She died in a car accident shortly after. We believe she left the baby at the hospital just before the crash. The words hit like a punch. All these years, she'd wondered about Eli's story. Now she has answers, but they only raise more questions. If Mr. Kang wanted his son, where was he? Her voice shakes with anger and fear. Where was he when Eli had pneumonia at 6 months? When he learned to walk? When nightmares made him scream? He's been searching. The mother left no information about where she'd gone. Until your adoption filing triggered a DNA database match, there was no trail to follow. You can't just show up with paperwork and take him. Mr. Kang has legal rights as the biological father. He'll visit tomorrow to discuss arrangements. The man's expression holds something like sympathy. "We're not your enemies, Miss Brown, but the law is clear." After they leave, Alina sinks onto the couch, hands trembling. Eli climbs into her lap. "Who were those men, Mama?" She holds him like he might disappear. "Nobody, baby. Nobody important." But she's lying. They both know it. That night, after Eli falls asleep, Alina sits at her tiny kitchen table and cries. She's fought so hard for everything she has. Her education, her independence, her son. How do you fight a man with unlimited money and legal rights? How do you explain to a 5-year-old that the only parent he's ever known might not be enough to keep him safe? Kang Jun arrives the next afternoon like a storm front. Silent, inevitable, impossible to ignore. His car is black and sleek. When he steps out, the neighborhood seems to hold its breath. 2 bodyguards flank him as he approaches Alina's building. He doesn't knock. One of his men does it for him. Alina opens the door with Eli tucked behind her legs. Jun's gaze sweeps her cramped apartment. Peeling paint, second-hand furniture, children's artwork covering every surface. For just a moment, something flickers across his face. Not disgust, but something more complicated. This was his childhood, too, before he clawed his way to the top. "Miss Brown." His voice carries effortless authority. I'm here for my son. He isn't your son. Alina keeps her voice steady. He's a child you've never met. Biology disagrees. Biology isn't the same as being a father. Something shifts in June's expression. Surprise, maybe. People don't usually challenge him. I didn't abandon him, he says, each word carefully controlled. His mother, Minji, fled with him when my business rivals made threats. I told her to hide until it was safe. I gave her resources, money, everything she needed. I expected her to contact me when the danger passed. She died instead. Yes. For a fraction of a second, genuine pain crosses his face. The police said it was a drunk driver, wrong place, wrong time. By the time they realized there might have been an infant in the car, the trail was cold. I searched everywhere, every hospital, every orphanage, every foster care system in 3 cities. I thought he'd died with her. Alina's anger wavers, just slightly. I'm sorry for your loss, but that doesn't erase what I am to Eli. I'm his mother in every way that matters. And I'm his father, whether you acknowledge it or not. Are you? She meets his gaze directly. Fatherhood isn't a DNA test. It's showing up. It's knowing his favorite bedtime story. Whether he's scared of thunder or the dark. What makes him laugh? What makes him feel safe? Then I'll learn those things. You can't learn 5 years of love in an afternoon. June's jaw tightens. You don't understand my world. The threats I face daily. The enemies who would use a child as leverage. I need him where I can protect him properly. You mean where you can control him? The accusation lands hard. June's hands clench. Control keeps people alive in my world, he says quietly. Your world is exactly what I'm trying to protect him from. Behind Alina, Eli peeks around her leg. His eyes, so like June's, are wide with confusion and fear. June notices. His expression softens imperceptibly. He crouches down, making himself smaller, less threatening. Hello, Eli. The boy doesn't respond, just stares. June hesitates, searching for words that feel foreign on his tongue. I'm your father. I don't have a father, Eli whispers. Just Mama. The simple statement cuts deeper than any insult. June's trained to negotiate, to manipulate, to win. But nothing prepared him for the rejection of a frightened child. Your mother, your birth mother, was someone I cared about very much, June says carefully. She wanted you safe. That's why she left you where Miss Brown could find you. Then why do you want to take me away from Mama? The question hangs in the air, direct, devastating. June has no answer that doesn't sound like selfishness. Alina sees him struggling. Despite her fear, she feels an unexpected flicker of something, not sympathy exactly, but recognition of his genuine confusion. He doesn't know you, she says more gently. You're a stranger. You can't force a relationship. June stands abruptly. The court will decide custody. My lawyers are already filing. They'll win, probably. Alina's voice cracks. You have money and power. I have neither. But winning custody isn't the same as winning his heart. The truth of it hits June like a physical blow. I'll return in 3 days, he says finally. That gives you time to prepare him, to help him understand this is happening. It's not much, but it's something. Before he can leave, Eli's small voice stops him. Mama says truly strong people know how to say sorry. June turns. What? Eli clutches his stuffed rabbit tighter. She says mean people are just scared people who forgot how to be nice. The words pierce something in June's carefully constructed armor. He looks at Alina. She returns his gaze steadily. "Prove me wrong," her eyes say. "Prove you're more than power and threats." After he leaves, Alina slides down the door and finally allows herself to cry. Eli crawls into her arms. "Mama, why was that man so sad?" She blinks in surprise. Sad. His eyes looked sad, even when he talked all strong and scary. Alina holds her son close, marveling at his perception. 5 years old, and already seeing what she'd missed beneath the expensive suit and cold authority. Maybe there was more to Kang Jun than ice and arrogance. But that didn't mean she'd stop fighting for her child. Outside, Jun sits in his car, staring at nothing. His phone rings. His mother's name flashes on the screen. "Did you find him?" Her voice trembles with hope. "Is my grandson alive?" "Yes, Mother, he's alive." Her sob of relief nearly breaks him. "Bring him home. Please, I've waited so long." "It's complicated." "What's complicated? He's your son." "He doesn't know me. And the woman who raised him." June pauses. "She loves him, truly loves him." "Then we'll welcome her too. Whatever it takes, bring him home." After hanging up, June closes his eyes. His mother's loneliness, Eli's fear, Alina's fierce protection. All of it swirls in his mind like pieces of a puzzle he can't solve with money or power. For the first time in a decade, Kang Jun doesn't know what victory looks like. The thought is strangely motivational, not toward action, but toward doubt. And doubt, for a man like him, is more dangerous than any rival's bullet. Because doubt means he might be wrong. And if he's wrong about this, about force being the answer, then everything he's built his life on might be a lie. If this story is drawing you in, subscribe to join us for more journeys of love and redemption every week. 3 days later, a black car arrives outside Alina's apartment. Eli clings to her as she carries his small suitcase to the door. "I don't want to go, Mama." "I know, baby." She kneels, framing his face with her hands. "But he's your father, and he wants to know you. We have to try, and I promise I'll visit every single day." "What if he's mean?" "Then you tell me, and we'll figure it out. Together, always together." The drive to June's estate is silent. Eli presses his face against the window, watching his familiar neighborhood disappear, replaced by increasingly expensive houses until they reach a mansion that looks like something from a movie. When they enter the grand foyer, all marble floors and soaring ceilings, Eli seems to shrink. He's a tiny figure dwarfed by luxury, clutching his worn stuffed rabbit like a lifeline. An elegant woman in her 60s rushes forward, June's mother. Her eyes fill with tears when she sees Eli. "Oh," the word comes out like a prayer. "You look exactly like your father did at your age." She kneels carefully, not reaching out, just staying at his level. "I'm your grandmother. I've waited so long to meet you." Eli doesn't move, doesn't speak. She doesn't push, just remains there, tears streaming down her face. "You don't have to call me grandmother yet. You don't have to call me anything. I'm just so grateful you're here." June appears in the doorway. "Mother, give him space." She nods, standing. "Of course, I'm sorry, sweet boy. Take all the time you need." June approaches more cautiously. "Your room is upstairs. Would you like to see it?" Eli nods once, barely perceptible. The bedroom is enormous. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the city. A bookshelf overflows with new children's books. A toy chest holds unopened packages. I wasn't sure what you'd like, June admits, so I got options. Eli sets his rabbit carefully on the bed, a bed large enough for 3 of him, and looks around with wide, uncertain eyes. Do you like it? June asks. It's very big. Is that good? I don't know yet. The honesty catches June off guard. He'd expected fear or defiance, not this careful, thoughtful evaluation. You can change anything, the color, the furniture, whatever you want. Can Mama visit tomorrow? Yes, absolutely. Okay. Eli picks up his rabbit again. Then it's okay. That night, Mrs. Moon, the kind housekeeper, helps Eli through his bedtime routine. But when she offers to stay until he falls asleep, Eli shakes his head. I want my papa. The request surprises everyone. Mrs. Moon finds June in his study and delivers the message. June arrives at the bedroom to find Eli tucked under covers that probably cost more than Alina's monthly rent, looking impossibly small and vulnerable. You wanted me? June asks from the doorway. Mama always stays until I fall asleep. Will you? June has a conference call scheduled with Tokyo in 15 minutes. Important investors, critical negotiations. Yes, he says instead. I'll stay. He settles awkwardly into the chair beside the bed. Eli watches him with those solemn eyes. Don't you know any bedtime stories? The boy asks. No, no one told me stories when I was young. That's sad. Yes, June admits, it was. Mama says everyone deserves stories. They help you dream good dreams instead of scary ones. Your mama is very wise. Eli considers this. Do you have scary dreams? The question pierces unexpected armor. Sometimes. About what? June hesitates, then chooses honesty. About losing people I love. Like me? Yes, like you. Eli's expression softens slightly. I have scary dreams too, about Mama leaving and not coming back. She won't leave. She loves you too much. Do you love me? The directness nearly undoes him. June has negotiated billion-dollar deals, faced armed enemies, built an empire from nothing. But this question from his 5-year-old son breaks through every defense. Yes, he says, voice rough with emotion. I do. I know I don't know how to show it yet, but I love you very much. Eli studies him with those 2 wise eyes. Then slowly he holds out his stuffed rabbit. His name is Carrot. Mama gave him to me. He helps when you're scared. June takes the offering like it's made of glass. Thank you. You can hold him until you're not scared anymore. Something cracks in June's chest. He clutches the worn rabbit, feeling tears prick his eyes for the first time in years. You're very kind, he whispers. Like your mama. Eli smiles, small, tentative, but real. Mama says kindness doesn't cost anything, so we should give it to everyone. She's absolutely right. They sit in comfortable silence. Eventually, Eli's eyes drift closed. June stays long after his son falls asleep, holding the rabbit, watching him breathe, and thinking about all the years he's missed, all the years he'll spend trying to make up for lost time. Alina arrives before dawn. She couldn't sleep, couldn't wait. The bodyguard recognizes her and lets her in without question. She finds June in the kitchen, actually in the kitchen, attempting to make breakfast. Pancake batter is everywhere. He's wearing an apron over his dress shirt. You're early, he says, without looking up from the griddle where something is definitely burning. I couldn't wait. She moves closer, surveying the disaster. What are you doing? Making pancakes. Eli mentioned his mama makes them on Saturdays. It's Thursday. I'm practicing, He flips a pancake. It lands half on the griddle, half on the counter. Unsuccessfully, apparently. Despite everything, Alina almost smiles. You're burning them. I'm aware. That's not how you flip. Clearly, she comes beside him, takes the spatula. Like this, gentle but confident, quick wrist. Her hand guides his through the motion. They're standing close enough that she catches the scent of his cologne. Expensive, subtle, completely different from anything in her world. Where's Eli? She asks, stepping back quickly. Still sleeping. I checked 3 times. Is that too much? I don't know the rules. There are no rules, just instinct, attention, love. I'm trying. I can see that. She gestures to the kitchen disaster. This proves you're trying. The corner of his mouth twitches, almost a smile. They work together in surprising harmony. Alina salvaging the pancakes while June handles cleanup. It's oddly domestic, comfortable in a way neither expected. He asked me last night if I loved him, June says suddenly. Alina's hands still. What did you tell him? The truth, that I do, that I don't know how to show it, but I love him. That's good, that's honest. He let me hold Carrot. Then he's starting to trust you. June's throat works visibly. I haven't earned that trust. Not yet, but you're working toward it. They look at each other across the kitchen. Something passes between them. Not romance yet, but recognition. Understanding. The beginning of respect. I was wrong, June says quietly. About many things. About you. About what it means to be a father. You weren't entirely wrong. Eli does need security, stability, things I struggle to provide. But he needs love more. You were right about that. Before Alina can respond, small footsteps pad into the kitchen. Mama. Eli runs to her. She scoops him up, holding him tight enough to hurt. Hi, baby. Did you sleep well? Uh-huh. Papa stayed with me. She looks at June over Eli's head. Something shifts in her chest. Not forgiveness, not yet. But the beginning of possibility. Recognition that maybe this man was capable of change. We made pancakes, June says. Well, your mama made pancakes. I made creative modern art. Eli giggles. Can we all eat together? The question hangs in the air like a held breath. Yes, Alina says, together. They eat at the massive dining table, 3 people in a space meant for 12. It should feel awkward. Instead, it feels like the beginning of something neither adult can quite name yet. Later, when Eli is playing with his new toys under Mrs. Moon's supervision, Alina and June stand at the window overlooking the manicured grounds. I have a proposition, June says carefully. Move into the guest house, you and Eli. It's separate, private. You'd have your own space, but you'd be close. He needs you here, and He pauses. I need to learn from you how to be what he needs. Alina's first instinct is to refuse. Independence, pride, self-reliance. But then she thinks of Eli, torn between 2 worlds, and June genuinely trying despite being completely out of his depth. On certain conditions, she says, name them. I'm not your employee, I'm Eli's mother. Equal say in all decisions about him. Agreed. I keep my teaching job and my after-school program. I'm not some kept woman in a gilded cage. I wouldn't dream of caging you, June says, and there's something new in his voice, respect, maybe even admiration. You're far too fierce for that. And we all attend family counseling to help Eli adjust and help us figure out how to do this. June hesitates. Therapy means vulnerability. admitting he doesn't have all the answers. But he looks at Eli through the doorway, laughing at something Mrs. Moon said, and the choice becomes obvious. Yes, all of it, whatever it takes. Alina extends her hand. Then we have an agreement. June takes it. Her hand is small in his, work-roughened, strong. Thank you, he says quietly, for not giving up on him. On this, on us. I haven't given up on anything, but I haven't committed to forever either. You have to prove yourself every day. I will. As they stand there, hands still clasped, neither notices June's mother, watching from the hallway with a knowing smile, or that Eli has stopped playing to stare at them. A small, hopeful smile on his face. Maybe, he thinks, this could actually work. Maybe they could be a real family. But 3 nights later, everything changes. The attack comes without warning. June is in his study when the alarm system screams to life. Red lights strobe through every hallway. The automated voice announces, "Perimeter breach, lockdown initiated." His security chief's voice crackles through his earpiece. "Sir, armed intruders, at least 5, they knew our blind spots." June's blood turns to ice. Where's Eli? Mrs. Moon took him to the safe room, but Miss Brown is in the guest house. It's outside the main security perimeter. Get her, now. June is already moving, pulling a gun from his desk drawer. His enemies haven't forgotten him just because he's tried to go legitimate. The Mafia never truly lets anyone leave. He reaches the safe room, reinforced walls disguised as a wine cellar. Mrs. Moon is there, pale and trembling, but Eli isn't. Where is he? June's voice is deadly calm. He ran. The alarm scared him, and he bolted before I could stop him. He said he needed to find Miss Brown. June doesn't wait for more. He's sprinting down corridors, shouting Eli's name. Smoke begins curling through the air vents. They've set fires, multiple entry points. This is professional, coordinated. He knows who sent them. Park Min-seok, an old rival from his darker days. Someone he'd beaten in a territory dispute 5 years ago. Someone who'd sworn revenge. June thought he'd insulated himself, built enough legitimate business to be untouchable. He was wrong, and now his son is paying the price. He finds Eli in his bedroom, pressed into the corner, hands over his ears, sobbing silently. "Eli," June drops to his knees. "We have to go right now." But the boy is frozen, eyes wide and unseeing, trapped in pure terror. June reaches for him just as he hears the front door crash open downstairs. Voices, heavy footsteps. They're inside. He could fight. He's trained for it. But not with Eli here. Not with his son as a potential casualty. For the first time in his adult life, Kang Jun feels utterly helpless. Then another sound cuts through. A car arriving fast. A door slamming. Alina's voice, sharp with fury. "Where is he? Where's my son?" She must have seen the emergency alerts, maybe security footage, already leaked online. She came anyway, through danger, through lockdown protocols. She came. June scoops up Eli, the boy rigid with fear, and moves toward the stairs. 3 men round the corner, armed, masked. June's weapon comes up automatically. The lead intruder laughs. The great Kang Jun, not so untouchable now. Park Min-seok sends his regards. "This is between him and me. No, this is about making you suffer, taking what you love like you took from him." They're not here for a quick kill. They're here to destroy him slowly, thoroughly, starting with Eli. June's finger tightens on the trigger. "Don't!" Alina appears at the top of the stairs, breathing hard, hair wild. She's in pajama pants and a jacket, barefoot. She must have run the whole way. She steps between June and the intruders, between the guns and her child. You want to hurt someone? Her voice shakes but doesn't break. Then you go through me first, through a woman and a child. Is that the kind of men you are? The intruders hesitate. They're soldiers following orders. Killing a woman holding a kid wasn't in the plan. Lady, move aside. No. She steps closer to June, to Eli. You came here for revenge, for some old grudge? Then take it, but leave him out of it. He's 5 years old. He has nothing to do with your war. The boss said, I don't care what your boss said. Alina's voice rings with unexpected authority. I care what kind of men you choose to be right now. Do you hurt a child, or do you remember you're human? One of the men lowers his weapon slightly. We weren't told anything about a kid. Then prove you're better than your orders. Walk away. Sirens wail in the distance, growing closer. Alina must have called the police before she even left the guest house. The lead intruder's radio crackles. Abort! Police incoming! 2 minutes! Abort! They exchange glances. This was supposed to be a warning, not a massacre that brings law enforcement. This isn't over, the leader says to June. Tell Park. I'll handle Park myself, June says quietly. The threat hangs in the air. Then the intruders retreat, vanishing as quickly as they came. The moment they're gone, June drops his weapon. His hands are shaking. When did his hands last shake? Alina rushes to him, to Eli. Baby, it's okay now. You're safe. We're all safe. Eli is still trembling, face buried in June's shoulder. You came, June says, voice raw. You ran toward danger. Of course I did. He's my son. You could have been killed. So could you. So could Eli. We're a family now, remember? That's what families do. June stares at this impossibly brave, impossibly stubborn woman who just faced down armed men in her bare feet. You're insane, he whispers. Probably. She manages a shaky smile. But so are you. You dropped your weapon. I couldn't shoot with him watching. With you standing there, I couldn't become that person in front of him. Alina's eyes fill with tears. I know. They stand in the smoke-filled corridor, holding Eli between them, until police and firefighters arrive. Hours later at the hospital, Eli admitted for observation due to smoke inhalation. June sits with his head in his hands. His mother is there, crying quietly. Security personnel give reports he barely hears. And Alina sits beside him, her hand finding his. This is my fault, he says, my past, my enemies. They almost killed him. But they didn't. We protected him, together. You shouldn't have had to. He should be safe. Safety is an illusion, June. Bad things happen everywhere. Rich neighborhoods and poor ones, mansions and apartments. She squeezes his hand. The difference is whether you face them alone or together. I can't ask you to keep risking your life. You're not asking, I'm choosing. Her voice is fierce. I love him enough to run into fire. And you, she pauses. You're becoming the father he deserves. I saw it tonight, the man who chose his son over revenge. June looks at her, really looks, and realizes with stunning clarity that he's falling in love with her. Not just because she's beautiful, though she is, fierce and bright and alive. Not just because she's good with Eli, though she's extraordinary, but because she sees him, The real him, beneath the power and control. The man trying to crawl out from under years of emotional armor. And she's not running away. She's running toward him. "Alina," he starts. "Not now," she says gently. "First, we make sure Eli's okay. Then we deal with whoever sent those men. Then, maybe then, we can talk about what this is becoming." Is it becoming something? She smiles through tears. "I think so, but I'm not rushing it. We've got time." In the hospital bed, Eli stirs. His eyes flutter open. "Mama, Papa." They're both there instantly, one on each side. "We're here, baby," Alina says softly. "We're not going anywhere," June adds. Eli looks between them with those serious dark eyes. "Are we still a family?" June's throat tightens. "Yes, always. I promise." "Even though bad people came?" "Especially because of that," Alina says. "Families protect each other. That's what makes us strong." Eli nods slowly, processing. Then he yawns. "Okay, I'm sleepy now." As he drifts back to sleep, Alina and June's hands find each other across the hospital bed. Neither lets go. The next 48 hours move like a chess game. Police investigations, security upgrades, and June making phone calls with surgical precision. But he doesn't retaliate with violence. Instead, he does something far more devastating. He uses the law. Financial audits delivered to prosecutors. Evidence of Park Minseok's illegal operations given to authorities. Everything documented, legal, irreversible. Within 2 days, Park's empire crumbles. Arrests cascade. Assets freeze. Alina watches from June's study, where she's insisted on staying despite his protests that she should rest. "You're destroying him," she observes. "Yes." Without firing a single shot. "I'm not that man anymore." June looks at her. "Or I'm trying not to be. I won't always get it right, but I'll keep trying." That's all anyone can ask. 3 evenings after the attack, they're finally back at the estate, now fortified with security that would rival a government building. Eli plays in the living room under Mrs. Moon's watchful eye, his resilience already returning with the speed of childhood. June's mother approaches them in the hallway. "May I speak with you both?" They follow her to the garden, a peaceful space that somehow survived the chaos untouched. "I want to thank you," she says to Alina, her voice thick with emotion, "for giving me my grandson, for raising him with such love when we couldn't." "You don't need to thank me. I do." Tears spill down the older woman's cheeks. "When Minji died, I thought I'd lost everything. My future daughter-in-law, my grandson, any hope of family. But you kept him safe. You gave him everything he needed when we didn't even know he existed. I didn't do it for thanks. I did it because I loved him." "I know. That's why I'm asking you to stay. Not as a guest or employee, but as family, as Eli's mother," as she glances meaningfully at her son. "As whatever you choose to become." Alina looks at June, who suddenly finds the garden flowers fascinating. "I haven't decided what we are yet," Alina says carefully. "Then take your time," the older woman says warmly. "But know you have a place here, always. You're already family to us." After she leaves, awkward silence settles between them. "Your mother is very direct," Alina observes. "It runs in the family." "I've noticed." More silence. The kind heavy with unspoken words. "Alina," June begins, then stops, starts again. "I need to tell you something." She waits, patient. 5 years ago, I thought I was in love with Minji. We were young, reckless. When she got pregnant, I was terrified, but also hopeful. That maybe I could be more than my father was, more than the legacy he left me. He's never told anyone this, not even his mother. But my enemies found out, made terrible threats. I told Minji to leave, to hide until it was safe. I gave her money, resources, everything I could. I thought she'd go to her family or leave the country. Instead, she stayed in Seoul, trying to stay close to me. His voice cracks. One night, driving back from the hospital, where she'd gone for a checkup, a drunk driver. Wrong place, wrong time. She died instantly. Alina's hand finds his. I thought Eli died with her. The crash was so severe, they couldn't immediately confirm if there'd been a baby in the car. By the time they realized there might have been an infant, the trail went cold. I searched everywhere, every hospital, every morgue, every social service in 3 cities. Nothing. She must have left him at the hospital before the accident. Alina says softly. Maybe she knew something was wrong, had a premonition. She left him somewhere safe, even though she couldn't explain why. And you found him. I found him. June turns to face her fully. I failed him, I failed Minji. I let my dangerous world destroy the people I loved. I swore I'd never care about anyone again, that I'd just build power, build walls, build something that couldn't be touched or hurt. But that's not living, that's just surviving. I know that now. He takes both her hands. You've shown me what I was missing, not just love for Eli, but the courage to be vulnerable, to admit when I'm wrong, And he kneels. Right there in the garden, Kongjun drops to his knees before her. What are you doing? Alina gasps. What I should have done from the beginning, asking instead of demanding. His voice is raw, honest. I don't deserve you. I don't deserve your forgiveness or trust or time. But I'm asking anyway. Stay, not just for Eli, though he needs you desperately, but stay for me, because I'm learning how to be human again, and I need you to teach me. June, I know it's too soon. I know I have years of work to prove I'm worthy, but I'm asking for the chance, the possibility. Because somewhere between pancake disasters and hospital vigils and facing armed men together, I fell in love with you. The confession hangs in the air like a surrendered weapon. Alina looks down at this powerful man on his knees, and she sees everything clearly. The boy he was, the man he became, and the person he's fighting to be. I don't need you to kneel, she says gently. I just need you to be honest, to choose love over power, to be the father Eli needs and the partner I deserve. I will every day, I swear it. And when you mess up, because you will, everyone does, then I'll apologize, I'll learn, I'll do better the next time. She pulls him to his feet. They stand face to face, close enough to share breath. I can't promise I love you, she says honestly. Not yet, it's too soon, too complicated. But I can promise I want to try, to see what we could become, if you're willing to do the work. I'm willing, God, I'm so willing. Then get up, stop kneeling. We face this as equals or not at all. June rises, and there's something different in his posture now. Not rigid authority, but something softer, more open, more real. Thank you, he whispers. Don't thank me yet. I'm a lot of work. I noticed. It's one of your best qualities. She laughs, surprised, genuine. You're going to be trouble, aren't you? Probably, but the good kind, I hope. They stand in the garden, not quite touching, but not apart either. Inside the house, Eli watches through the window with his grandmother. Are Mama and Papa going to get married? He asks. Maybe, sweet boy, maybe someday. Good, I want them to be happy together. They will be, his grandmother says confidently. They just have to figure it out themselves. Later that evening, after Eli is tucked into bed, June finds Alina on the balcony of the guest house. Can't sleep, he asks. Too much thinking. He joins her at the railing. The city sprawls below, a galaxy of lights. What are you thinking about? How much life can change, how fast, whether we can really make this work. Do you want to? She considers the question seriously. Yes, I think I do, but I'm scared. Of what? Of losing myself, of becoming someone I'm not just to fit into your world. I don't want you to fit my world, June says firmly. I want to build a new world with you, for Eli, something that's ours together. That's very romantic for someone who once said he didn't bow to anyone. Former arrogance. I'm retiring from that particular character flaw. My therapist is working on divesting all my questionable emotional holdings. Alina laughs at the business metaphor. You're ridiculous. I'm trying, there's a difference. There really is. He moves closer. I'm also divesting the actual questionable holdings. Legitimately, completely. My lawyers are working on it now. She looks at him in genuine surprise. You'd do that? I'm already doing it. I don't want Eli growing up knowing his father was connected to that world. I want him to be proud of me, and I can't earn that pride while I'm still tied to violence and crime, even indirectly. That's going to cost you a fortune. I have enough money for 10 lifetimes. What it costs me is power, influence, fear-based respect. I turns to face her. But I'm gaining something better. The possibility of real respect, real love, a real family. Alina's last defenses crumble slightly. You're making it very hard to keep my walls up. Good, I want you defenseless, so I can spend my life protecting you instead. She shakes her head, smiling. That's the most inspirational thing you've ever said, and also the most possessive. Working on the possessive part. Work harder. Yes, ma'am. They smile at each other, and something shifts. The final wall begins to crack. June reaches out slowly, giving her every opportunity to pull away. She doesn't. His hand cups her face, thumb brushing her cheek. May I kiss you? Are you always going to ask? Until you tell me otherwise, yes. Then yes, you may. The kiss is gentle at first, tentative, testing boundaries. Then it deepens into something more. Not desperate or demanding, but honest, real, full of promise. When they finally break apart, both are breathless. Wow, Alina whispers. Yeah, wow. We should probably take this slow. Absolutely, but maybe not too slow. June grins, a real smile, boyish and free. I can work with that. They stand together under the stars, and for the first time in years, both feel something they'd almost forgotten. Genuine hope. The kind that comes from choosing love over fear, from building something new from ashes, from kneeling before each other, not in submission, but in respect, in partnership, in the beginning of love, 1 year later. The building doesn't look like much from the outside. 3 stories of warm cream paint and sage green trim, with a playground out front where laughter rises like music. Above the door, a wooden sign reads, Eli's Home, a place for every child. Inside, Alina moves through bright hallways, checking reading corners and art stations. 23 children call this place home now. 23 kids who needed someone to see them, to choose them, to love them. She pauses at a window overlooking the playground. Kang Jun is out there, sleeves rolled up, pushing a little girl on the swing. His tie is loosened, his expensive watch catches the sunlight. But his smile, that's entirely new, real, unguarded, free. Eli races past him, chasing butterflies with 3 other kids, his laughter bright and uninhibited. He's 6 now, confident in a way he never was before. Loved by 2 parents instead of torn between them. Miss Alina? One of the older children tugs her sleeve. Mr. Kang said he'd help with my science project. Is that okay? Of course, sweetie. He's excellent at science. He's good at everything, the boy says with obvious hero worship, then runs off. Alina smiles. A year ago, she couldn't have imagined this, any of this. The orphanage was June's idea, his apology made tangible and ongoing. Let me fund something that actually helps people, he'd said. Let me build something that heals instead of hurts. So they did. Together, the Kang Group's resources, meeting Alina's heart and experience, a partnership that had become so much more. Their romance had unfolded slowly, carefully, weekly therapy sessions, long conversations late into the night, learning each other's histories, fears, dreams, quirks. June had kept every promise, exceeded every expectation. And somewhere along the way, Alina had stopped protecting her heart and let him completely in. The back door opens. June enters with Eli on his shoulders, both slightly sweaty and completely happy. Mama, Papa taught me how to do a cartwheel, Eli announces proudly. Did he now? Alina raises an eyebrow at June. And how many times did you both fall? Only twice, June says defensively. We're getting better. You're going to break something important. Probably, but we'll heal together. Their easy banter gets interrupted by Eli sliding down. Can we have family dinner tonight? The big one with everyone? Everyone has become their code for extended family dinners. June, Alina, Eli, Mrs. Moon, June's mother, and usually a few of the orphanage kids who need extra attention. Absolutely, Alina says. But first, someone needs a bath. Oh, Mama. No negotiations, mister. You smell like playground and adventure. Eli giggles and runs toward the residential wing where their private apartment is nestled. A space they'd designed together, cozy, lived in, full of books and blanket forts and crayon masterpieces on the refrigerator. When he's gone, June moves closer to Alina. His hand finds hers naturally, easily. Have I mentioned today that you're extraordinary? Only twice. You're slipping. Let me fix that. You're extraordinary. Amazing. The best thing that ever happened to me and Eli. Much better. He pulls her close, pressing a kiss to her temple. I have something for you. Oh. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a small velvet box. Alina's breath catches. June, before you panic, let me explain. He opens the box. Inside sits a delicate gold ring with a single perfect diamond. Beautiful but not ostentatious. Classic, timeless. This isn't a promise ring, he says quietly. This is the real thing. A proposal. The one I've been practicing in front of Mrs. Moon for 3 weeks. The one Eli helped me plan down to the minute. Alina's eyes fill with tears. I love you, June continues, voice steady despite the emotion there. I love your strength and your kindness and your fierce protection of the people you love. I love how you see the best in people, including me, when I couldn't see it in myself. I love the family we've built together, not just Eli, but all these kids, this place, this life. And I want to make it official. I want to marry you if you'll have me. June, I know I'm not perfect. I know I'll mess up sometimes. But I promise to always try, to always choose you, to always put our family first. So Alina Brown, will you marry me? She looks at this man who learned to kneel, who chose love over power, who built an empire of the heart instead of fear. Yes, she says through happy tears. Yes, 1,000 times yes. He slides the ring onto her finger. It fits perfectly, like it was always meant to be there. Then he kisses her, not gentle this time, but passionate, full of promise and joy and relief. They break apart to the sound of applause. Every child in the orphanage has gathered in the hallway, clapping and cheering. Eli stands at the front, grinning so wide his face might split. I told you she'd say yes, he announces to everyone. You were right, little man, June says, scooping him up. You were absolutely right. Alina laughs and cries at the same time, surrounded by their chosen family, overwhelmed by how much love one heart can hold. That evening, after celebration and dinner, and tucking 23 excited children into bed, Alina and June stand together on their balcony. The city stretches below, alive with possibility. Happy? He asks, arm around her shoulders. Ridiculously happy, she admits, leaning into him. Good. That's how I want you to feel every day for the rest of our lives. That's a tall order. I'm good at meeting challenges. She looks up at him. Do you ever miss it? The old life? The power? June considers the question seriously. Sometimes I miss the simplicity, clear enemies, clear victories. But then I remember how lonely I was. So lonely I didn't even recognize it as loneliness. And now I have everything that matters. He gestures to the building below, their life together. I have Eli, I have you. I have purpose that doesn't require moral compromise or looking over my shoulder. How could I miss anything else? We've come a long way. We have, together. He pauses, then adds softly, Thank you. For what? For refusing to kneel to my demands, for making me earn this, for teaching me that real strength is vulnerability, not control. Thank you for being teachable, for choosing us, for building something beautiful from something broken. They stand in comfortable silence, watching the city breathe below. Inside, through the open door, they hear Eli singing softly, teaching the lullaby to his younger roommate who's afraid of the dark. The same one about stars watching over you when you're scared. He's not scared anymore, June observes. Neither are you, Alina replies. No, June agrees, holding her closer. Not anymore. Because the empire he'd built from steel and secrets had crumbled, and in its place, something infinitely better had grown, something that couldn't be bought or taken or burned down. A family, a home, a love that chose tenderness over power every single day. 3 months later, they marry in the orphanage garden. Eli serves as ring-bearer, walking down the aisle with such serious concentration that everyone smiles through their tears. 23 children hold handmade signs spelling out messages of love. June's mother cries happily in the front row, and when June and Alina say I do, surrounded by their chosen family, it feels like the most natural thing in the world. Because the truly strong aren't the ones who never kneel. They're the ones brave enough to kneel before the people they love, to say I'm sorry, to say, "Teach me," to say, "I choose you every day, forever." Kong Jun had been a boss who commanded through fear. Now he's just a father, a husband, a man who measures his wealth in laughter and bedtime stories and moments like these, standing at an altar with the woman he loves, promising forever, and meaning it with every cell in his body. That night, after the reception, after the children are asleep, June and Alina stand one last time on their balcony as an engaged couple. Tomorrow they'll be husband and wife. No regrets, she asks. Not a single one. You? Only that we didn't find each other sooner. We found each other exactly when we were supposed to, when we were ready. She leans her head against his shoulder. I love you. I love you too, more than I knew I could love anything. They stand together under the stars and both know the same truth. They've built something that will last, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. Because it's chosen every day. Because it's built on honesty and vulnerability, and the courage to keep showing up even when it's hard. That's the real empire, the one worth building. And it will stand long after towers of steel have crumbled to dust. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear that it's never too late for love, never too late to change, never too late to build something beautiful from something broken. Subscribe to join us for more stories of courage, redemption, and the kind of love that changes everything. Until then, may you find your own empire of love, and may you have the courage to kneel before what matters most.